Hi, it's Kevin. Welcome to Relationship Ready. We are all a melting pot, not just our country and our world, but ourselves also. So today, we're going to talk about cross-cultural relationships, the melting pot that is us, and then how do we meld together when somebody has a different cultural upbringing, the skills needed to be able to manage it, and the positives and challenges that we face in being able to overcome these things, to have a satisfying relationship that is always more ready. History is about cliques and power and control. Whoever's in charge got to decide the rules, the laws, and the customs, traditions, and culture of the land. And shifts in power were shifts in culture, in changing and adopting new foods, and adopting new values, and adopting new religions, and adopting new mantras, and new rituals to be able to move through and create some sort of security and safety in our society, in our family, in our couples, and in ourselves. And we're going to focus on the couples part because relationships are difficult. Every time you enter in a relationship, you enter in a challenge of race, of ethnicity, of religion, and of values. And those are all things that, whether you're aware of it or not, sometimes it's easier when you share those things, and sometimes it's harder when you share those things. They create a commonality between us if they're similar. But if you don't appreciate those and don't embrace those, they also create a challenge and a fight between you and your partner. For instance, if you grew up Catholic and you're a recovering Catholic, and the person you're with, not so much a recovering Catholic, but they grew up Catholic too, and they embrace those values, that is a challenge to work through, a challenge in your culture, a challenge in your vision. If you grew up with the value of family, and you're from Pakistan, and you grew up with, and your partner grew up with the value of family, and they're from Indiana, then your culture defined what family meant. Maybe family has some of the same shared values. Maybe family does not. The power struggle and the power structure is different in a culture from Pakistan and a culture from Indiana. But the culture from Indiana has whatever the places that the particular individuals from Indiana and their ancestors came from also. Because maybe they came from Europe, maybe they came from Africa, who knows where they came from. But that's the learning to be able to determine, why is this important to me? And how do we negotiate those things? So relationships are a lot of work. And whether or not you're conscious that all these things are competing or not, they're still competing. And we still need to manage them, identify them, and be able to put them on the table together to decide together what kind of understanding we have of each other, what kind of empathy we have of each other, and then what kind of agreements we can have together about how we work through this relationship. And in doing so, differences need to be recognized, and they need to be accepted, and they need to be chosen. Because if, let's say for me, part of my cultural background and history is I have ancestors who grew up partly in the fields of Ireland and in the nomadic tribes of Persia from a long history ago. And recognizing that and understanding what that meant at that time helps me understand why certain things are important and values are important about survival, about support, and about ritual, of maintaining loss and maintaining a culture. Now, those aren't necessarily things that are my conscious thought every day, but those are affected when I'm challenged to go, who are you, or what decisions are you making, or how are you dealing with this particular difference, this particular loss, this particular family value? Well, part of it's the immediate family I grew up in, and part of it's every other generation that contributed to me and my immediate family. And in relationship, I need to be able to understand as much as I can of that and continue to progress. And the partner that I'm with comes with all of their own history and culture also. And we need to respect each other's differences as well as their similarities. So here's the learning. You need to be aware of many of these following things. Differences in language, nuances in language, nuances in how things are expressed, nuances in tone of who each of us are and who each of us and how we came to be. We need to be aware of the similarities between us and the differences and respect each of those as similar and as different. We need to be aware of the differences in humor, of what is humor, because humor is universal, but it's different in each culture, in each family, and what's okay and what's not okay. What's dark in your family, and accepting, since humor can turn pain, move forward, or it can be silly stuff, and the rest of the dark stuff you don't find funny at all. That's partly based on your culture of what was okay and who survived what in your generational history. And we need to be aware and respect and learn the skills of openness. How open and embracing is your culture, your family history, your individual history, your parents, your grandparents, their grandparents, and how protective do they need to be? What were they protecting? What do they still need to protect now? What do you need to protect now? Or how open can you be in your relationship to trust, to vulnerability, to change, to differences, to hang on to your rituals and your holidays and your ways in which you were? And how much can you let go of those or transform them into something that works for both of you? And how do you learn these skills? Well, you embrace self-awareness. Every moment is an opportunity for self-awareness. Why did you act that way right then? Why did I pause right then? Being able to recognize those and be like, oh, that's the way that I'm supposed to interact. That is my language. That is my culture. That is who I am right now based on who I was. Active listening, being able to feed back to your partner what it is you hear them saying, and then be able to accept what they say as their own beliefs or understanding, and then being able to learn from that in an active, humbling, back and forth way, to active listen to each other. And another skill we need, research. You can't know everything about your own history, your own culture, and especially your partner's. So how do you research it? Don't expect your partner to be the only expert on their history or culture. That is token economy and token relationships. What you need is to be able to do your own research and then see how it fits for your partner and have those discussions about, in your holiday, in your family tradition, this is what I read. Is that what it was when you grew up? When you grew up? Is that how it is now? Is that how you want it to be? In your family, how did you guys communicate? What was that based on? Was there a power differential between men and women? Was that a thing that you embraced or you fought against? How does that play out in our relationship now? There's a couple books of how to be a perfect stranger. They're probably old, might be outdated, but were the essentials of some of the culture. And do your research online and with the people that you know, but it's never as valuable as living in the experience of the other culture, because living in that and actively listening to the family members, the friends, the people who are in your different culture when you engage with a partner, to find out why are these things important to them. Not as spokespeople, but as you become a part of their culture. Because cross-cultural relationships work really well when you cross into the culture. and you embrace and accept the other culture, and it becomes part of your own culture, and create your own family rituals, your own way of communicating, your own language, the inside jokes, that's your own language, and embrace that into how you want to move forward together in your relationship. So what do we talk about today? Today we talk about cross-cultural relationships, how to be open to each other, and how to actively listen and feedback. This is what I understand of you. This is what I want to learn more about. And do your research so you can learn more about the person you're with, because the person you're with will be a mystery forever if you continue to explore your relationship and grow each of you independently and together to be more relationship ready. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, support, like, and share with others so we can all be more relationship ready.